Okay, good morning. So we're up to Reish Mem Daled Sif Beis. Reish Mem Daled Sif Beis. Lifsoid ha'avonim ulesakin hakeres. So we're continuing the theme of you're hiring a non-Jewish worker to do various things for you. What is the story regarding work on Shabbos? So lifsoid ha'avonim, if it's to work with stones, masonry, ulesakin hakeres, and to fix beams, afidu beis she'en Yehudi, even if he does the work in his own house, also it cannot be done for a Jewish person, because this is all building work, which is considered mechuba, and which we said is much more problematic because it's got the Shem Yisrael alov, and people know that he's doing it for the Jewish person. And if he went ahead and did all this masonry work and the sakin kairos, lo yeshakem babinyan, you shouldn't use them in construction. Says the Ramah, if he's doing it in his own house, this non-Jewish person, and it's not mefursim, he's doing it for the Israel, then shari, it would be permitted. Okay.
It's all work that one can see from outside.
Well, that's the thing. According to the Ramah, if he's doing it's not mefursim, he's doing it for Israel. I see. In other words, the actual work is taking place. It seems like it's taking place bebeisei. Well, I don't know. But I feel bebeisei. Yeah. Yeah, even seemingly if he's doing it indoors, but it seems to be known that he's sort of hammering away and he's working on a Jewish project, then that would be a problem according to the Mechaber. Says Mishabur Yudalad, now, when is it a problem? Only if the actual material belongs to the Jew. When he gives it to the non-Jewish worker to fix it up and to chisel away. But if it's the guy's own stuff, he just does a contract. You do my loft extension for X amount of money, and the non-Jew is buying the own material and is doing it himself. And if he chooses to sort of chisel these pieces of wood and to make the bricks, whatever, for himself, then even if he ends up doing it for the Israel, it may not be basis Israel, so long as it's not in the actual house of the Israel. Even though everyone knows that he's doing somebody's loft extension, muta, that was okay because shezelo nikra dai melechas Israel. Because this is not called Melechas Yisrael, because he could be doing it, he could choose to keep the bricks and the beams for himself. Kein kosav adog mervova, v'kvar kvidmu b'shuvas haradvaz b'chelik shishi siman nunvov. Ach, shemesayim sham, te'im hoya ein Yehudi, mesas ezvezon b'Shabbos samach lebinyan, if he's doing it close to where the building works take place, then ein noch and adov is not correct, mishum maras ayin, shelo yomru sechirehu, that they shouldn't say he's a sechir yom. So just remember that the general rules are that kablonos is okay, mikadin. There's no problem with that. You're paying him an X amount for the actual job. That's okay. This problem is schir yom. That's the ikadin problem. That's the main problem. But the only issue is marasayan if it was kablonos. Here, if he's doing construction work and is fixing beams and building bricks in his own house, even if it's for the Yisrael, that if it belongs to himself, then the Ein Yehudi, then it's not a problem because he can choose to keep them for himself. But if the actual material belongs to the Israel, then you've got a problem, even if he does it the base shel akum. Why? To sort of sink them into the building, therefore it's considered like real estate work. You've got to protest and say, listen, you can't do my work on Shabbos. Even if it's in the tchum, even if it's quite far away from the building, like we've discussed. V'im also came ein lekam mashe kosavnu bezeh. Okay. V'yeisha imru. Now this is the Ramah. The einam afursum shel Yisrael shari. If the guy is working in his own house with his own, with no one knows what he's doing, then even if it's not mafursum that it belongs to the Yisrael, then it's okay. Hayesh imrim koya kuloi. And it's going on all the cases. Hainu af mechuba gamur. When did they asa kablonas? When it's stam. So mistama shema Yisrael nikra olov. Aval biyodua lanu she'ein mefursim hapinin al shem Yisrael. But if it's not known that this building belongs to the Yisrael, they also bekiboilis. We don't asa. V'hoded sign haramah yeshemim al situs avonim mishum dubinin mamash she'ein motzu zeh. And the reason why the Ramah gives the example of situs avonim, of chiseling away stones, is because with binyan, it's not so motzui, because everyone knows this belongs to to Moshe, to Aaron, whatever. Okay, sure, and therefore it would be okay. Hainu says the Ramah in Yudches. The Mishnah in Yudches. Hainu she'en tzarich nimches be'en Yehudi im yasem melachta b'Shabbos. We don't have to stop. You have to protest against him. You can't tell him to do it, but you have to protest. So that's only if the guy is doing it in his own house. Always far away from the binyan. That it's not clear that it belongs to Israel. That we paskin like this yesh omrim of the Ramah. When it comes to chiseling stones. It could be that even the Mechaba agrees to this. But if it's properly attached to the ground, then even if it's not known that it belongs to Israel, when it comes to Mechuba proper, that the neighbors or the family or someone will know that it belongs to the Yisrael. Okay, good. Now that's base. Gimel. In Bonu Hoinim Yudid Yisrael bias b'Shabbos be'Issa. So if the non-Jewish person went ahead and he built the house for the Jewish person on Shabbos be'Issa, he shouldn't have done it, right? Because it's binyan, it's karka, and he shouldn't have done it. It's correct to be machmeh that you shouldn't go into the house. Hagar says the Ramah Miu im Hisn Yisrael many Yehudi shlelas lemelach b'Shabbos. If the Yisrael stipulated, this is really what took place last week. Yeah, that Shabbos. That if it was in the contract saying you shouldn't work on Shabbos, v'ein Yehudi also b'bal korcha, and the ein Yehudi went ahead and did it anyway, lemar lahashlim melachta, because he wanted to get on with the work. Ein lochush, then you don't have to be a machmer and you can use the property that he built. Ein lekam and siman tov kuf mem gimel. Okay, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Be'issa hainu. So this is our classic case. You pay him X amount to do the job, and it's b'toichat tchum. Do also rak mishamar science. So it's not also mid dinner, because you're paying him b'kiboiles, and that's how we started off this whole sugya. That if it's b'kiboiles, you're paying him for the job, then actually, strictly speaking, that's okay. The only problem is marasayan. People will think you're paying him for the day, and that's a problem. To be'emes adaita denafshe ovid, and the truth is that the non-Jew is doing this adaita denafshe, like we said, to get it, to finish the work a bit quicker. Avol im hayu sechira yom, but if they were being paid by the day, the midina also, that's actually also kala, mikadin. Yesh b'zeh issa misad hadin b'di'eved v'loy nochen bilvad. And that's even also min adin. And when it says in the Mechaba nochen lahachmir, then that's just not nochen lahachmir. This is mi'ikadin. You got to stop. Kein kosa mogen avram v'chein muchkam kein das habach in eschiyim v'chein kosa v'chay olden de beschiyim also medina b'inzeh she'u milsa b'fahesa. Here it's also medina that and it's very public, and then it's always going. This house will be also for him forever. Also lo la'olam. V'lacherim, if you want to sell it or other people for use it, then b'chdei sheyasu. In other words, it takes 3 days for him to do the particular work that he did. So then you've got to wait b'chdei sheyasu. If he worked for an hour on the Shabbos, then you have to wait an hour after Shabbos to get into that house. What?
Same thing with the train, your Shabbos Tel Aviv.
What? What do you mean?
Was that this consideration?
Oh, you mean when they built the light railway? I have no idea what was the mitzvahs. They had Jewish worker. Then
had said they had to wait.
Oh really? Oh really? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. So if it's for you, then it's also le'olam, and for acherim it's kadesh yasu. For yesh mekilin, there are those who are mekel. The after b'chay gavna ain't also medina ki im b'chdesh yasu. It's only also medina b'chdesh yasu for you. Ayin lekam b'simin shin chafei sif yudalet sham b'mishnah berurah. Okay. So again, the Mechaba says if the Ein Yehudi went ahead and built the house on Shabbos, then nochen lahach mishlo yikon subai, that you shouldn't go in. It says the Mishnah Berurah you've got in Chof, v'achreinim kosu de b'diavad yesh lismech b'kablonos al das Rabbeinu Tam. When it comes to a kablonos arrangement, again that you pay him a sum for the entire job, not a schir yom, al das you can be makil to rely on the shit of Rabbeinu Tam. He says it's okay, and therefore even you yourself, not others, can actually get benefits and can actually live in that house. When it comes to chiseling stones, Yesh lahata b'diavad l'shakam b'binyan. If he built, beams and he chiseled stone, bricks and things like that, you would be able to use them. Okay, then it's noch lahachmis sheloi konsu boy, says the Mishnah Berurah Chaf Aleph la'olam. Then it's right to be machmir never to use this house. And even for other people to use it. But you can get benefit by way of selling it to the Eina Yehudi. Now, that's the Mechaba. The Ramah says, however, if the Yisrael stipulated with Eina Yehudi that you shouldn't have done work on Shabbos, and he went ahead and did it, Bal Karchai, then Ein Lochash. So it says, what does it mean Bal Karchai? Rotzolema says Mishmur Chof Beis. Rotzolema she'ova al tano shehisnim memekedim. You stipulated don't work on Shabbos. He went ahead and worked on Shabbos. Al kain ein lochash lezeh. Then you have to be so worried about it because what did you do wrong? You stipulated it and he violated the contract. You put it in the contract. Even when it comes to it on Shabbos morning, you don't have to sort of walk over to him and say, "Hey, stop doing this." Kain mucham b'mordechai, the Rabbi Yerucham. Shehim occurred in Zeh. V'shehuva beis Yosef lekaman v'chein muchach v'mibi hagra. V'ayim b'mogen Avram shemefakfik moed b'din Zeh. He questions this. The kivin shu mechuba v'avamilst b'fahasia, and since it's mechuba and it's b'fahasia, it's public. Ikha chashad d'rem shelo yedu shehisne. There's a chashad. How do people know what was in the contract? Like last week, we didn't know when they were working on that corner, the Agudas building housing project. They were busy working with the crane on Shabbos. We didn't know what was in the contract. And one of the Rabbanim in town stood up and made a mechah. They shouldn't have done it. So they shouldn't have worked. But they didn't know what was in the contract. So it says in the Mogen Avram, this is fahesia and there's chashad, and no one knows what's in the contract. What they agreed. So therefore, it's not good enough just to say, well, listen, we stipulated it, and he went away against the contract. But rather, actually, when push comes to shove, you should actually make a machah on Shabbos morning, whenever it is, to say, listen, we agree that you shouldn't work on Shabbos. Please, put down your tools and stop working. For Kosovo El Yerabba, to Mikom Makom Nir She'ein Sorech Litin Lohem Mois. You don't have to pay him extra to stop working because that is what you agreed, and therefore you don't have to waste money by paying him to stop working on Shabbos. Now the mashmois is that if you were naughty and you didn't put in the contract, don't work on Shabbos, and he was working on Shabbos, then it's not enough to do a mechah. Then you need to pay him. Say, listen, take £100 and take the day off. And it's like a knas on this person that not only is he got to actually properly got to protest, but he's actually got to spend some money to persuade him to stop working on Shabbos. But the ikka is if it's kablonas, so that's really what the summary is. If he went ahead, you've got to stipulate not to work on Shabbos. If he went ahead and did it on Shabbos be'issa, it's nochen lahachmir. That's what the Mechaba says. However, if you stipulated beforehand and he violated the stipulation, then the Ramah says, you don't have to worry about it. If they did violate the contract and they went ahead and worked on Shabbos, so there's a machlekes. Some say, well, you did what you did, you contract, it's not your problem. But the Achronim seem to say that it's not good enough. You actually, because people don't know what's in the contract, and you should protest. You don't have to spend money on it, but you should protest. If you didn't put it in the contract, then it's like a knas, and you actually got to spend money to stop the guy doing the work.
What if it's a kapnos that's only within the town that's a Golker?
Yeah. If it's outside of, then even outside of, if it's outside of the tchum and it's kablonos, then it's mutzah mikadin. And like we said the other day, that dafka Shabbos and Yontif will be okay, where you can't travel. But on Chol HaMoed, it's actually more machmeh, and therefore they shouldn't be working on Chol HaMoed. Yeah. Okay.
For the case of the Agudah, though, now that you know what's in the contract, and
now you know it's in the contract, then it makes it better. Yeah.
So what would happen? So it's fine next Shabbos. That's the machlokes there.
Yeah, that's right. So if according to that would be the machlokes achronim, because now everyone knows what's in the contract, and then it could be that even the other achronim would say that actually you don't need to stop them because everyone knows and they're doing it against the contract terms. Maybe. Yeah.